tried to emulate some things that he does, and often getting in trouble for it, for doing the same things that he does, because there's really only one or two people that can do things like that. As far as playing against him, I know that I'm going to bring it. I mean, you have to. You're playing against one of the best players to ever play. You got to make sure that you're ready to go, because my competitive juices are going to be flowing no matter what playing against this guy. So I'm excited.
Joe, if you're the other quarterback on the same field with Brett Favre, wouldn't there be a tendency to throw the ball just a little bit harder if you could?
You know what? The thing is, it isn't throwing the ball harder. You don't want to embarrass yourself, because if that's the standard that you're holding yourself to, you want to be able to play as a complete quarterback like he does.
Antonio Chapman on the return for Green Bay. Runs into his own man and stops shy of the 30-yard line. So Favre has 1:43 to go in this 2-minute drill. And his mantra, as he has told us so many times, has always been, you don't need the big play, just move the chain.
That's right. He just says 1st and 10s are all that counts. You have plenty. You got 1:43 and 2 timeouts. This is like an entire quarter for him.
Yeah.
They have been deadly. They do such a great job of managing the clock. They don't waste any time in a 2-minute drill. They'll get 10, 12 plays off.
Spread the field with 4 wide receivers and give it to Green on the draw. They'll take it out to about the 34, and Robert Smith, who they picked up from Tennessee to play defensive end for them, made this stop.
You know, you run a draw play and you say, why are you running the football? But look where all the players are. They're right in the middle of the field. They're right at the line of scrimmage. They don't waste a whole lot of time.
Favre, short set, throws underneath. That's only going to pick up about 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Clock continues to run.
Well, what a nice job by Dante Robinson, their #1 pick. Terrific job of stopping them getting the first down.
Tony Fisher is in, and here comes the blitz. And Favre throws too high. That one incomplete. And now there's a flag down back where either holding or roughing would normally occur. As you saw Marcus Coleman go up and knock it away.
It's holding.
Holding. 40 on the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the master of the 2-minute drill this time is going to go 3 and out.
Well, now the protege gets a shot at it with the 1-minute drill. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, has really mixed things up on Favre. He's bringing a 3-4, and when we talked to Mike Wall, their offensive guard, he said the toughest thing is to figure out where the linebackers are coming from and whether we have them or the backs have to pick them up.
And this is a very good, very smart offensive line with guys like Clifton and Wall and Rivera and Tauscher and Rugemer. But they don't play against the 34 very often. Moses takes it on the bounce at the 20. Got a block. Got another huge block and takes it out to the 48-yard line. A 28-yard return. Jason Horton saved the touchdown.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about J.J. Moses. And when we watch him on a kickoff return and you watch him on a punt return, he waits on his ball. Watch the move he makes. Now he's straight up the field. There's no hesitation. There's no dancing. He was going for the goal line, and if it wasn't for number 26, Horton, he gets a touchdown.
But he's moving so quick, you can't see the guys getting hit in the back.
There were 2 of them that I saw,
yeah,
Joe.
The thing is once you make quick decisions like that and you get north and south, the chances of something being called aren't that great.
And there's so many of those that happen. They're happening all over the field. There are probably more blocks in the back than there are officials there to call them. Carr under pressure, takes off. A lot of road. Out of bounds inside the 30.
See, now, that's one element of David Carr's game that just doesn't get enough credit. He's rushed 41 times for 155 yards coming into this game. He's just dangerous enough with his legs that you can't go to sleep or he winds up with the big play. You see him set, and now all of a sudden, there they are. They're in man-to-man coverage, but there's nobody on David Carr. Darren Sharper has to come over and force him out of bounds.
Well, this offensive line has done a terrific job tonight for the Houston Texans.
And that was their longest run from scrimmage this year. Carr had it at 16. Now Carr has it at 24. Here's Davis on the draw. And he's swallowed up the line of scrimmage. crowd did not like the call. 33 seconds left in the half, and they call timeout.
Well, yeah, they don't want him to move the ball down the field like this and then settle for a field goal when you have plenty of time to get a touchdown, and especially as hot as Carr is now. Let him play.
David Carr wired. Let's listen to that last one.
380, hut!
Well, you know, we talked about this at the beginning of this game, and this is a statement game for David Carr, and I said that he's going to have to play his best game in order to beat the Green Bay Packers. Well, the offensive line has really been helping him because they have done a terrific job. The Green Bay Packers are trying to get to him with only 4 guys. You're not going to do it. You better send some people.
It's been a great half for the Houston Texans from every part of their team, offense, defense, and special teams.
2nd and 9. They've done a great job against KGB over there from the defensive end. Johnson gets all he can and gets out of bounds.
Well, I really like the way Chris Palmer, their offensive coordinator, has called the game. It's just enough movement so that KGB can't draw a bead on David Carr. That time they sprint out towards him. Next time he steps up in the pocket. Another time they bootleg away from him. You're making him chase him all over the football field, so you really can't set a rush lane.
28 seconds left. 3rd and 3. Fake the blitz and come with a 4-man rush. Carr throws it away.
Well, I tell you what.
Coming up at the Kia halftime show, Chris Berman will be along to sort out all those NBA suspensions, and there's a ton of them. The fastest 3 minutes in television, Boomer's halftime heroes, all that coming up on the Kia halftime show. The irony of all that, Ron Artest wanted some time out to promote his CD. Now, you got a lot of time right now.
I don't think he has any cash in the pocket to go with it, though.
You better go sell us some CDs. Boy, that was a disgrace.
Well, you go back to the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game a week ago was a disgrace. South Carolina-Clemson was a disgrace. Maybe it's just a bad moon rising and it's over. Somebody will get their senses back.
Chris Brown will try from 40. And Brown is true. He's hit 2 out of 3. Susie Culver, what do you have?
Well, with the ultimate Iron Man on the other side, you've got to acknowledge David Carr's toughness. He's played through this season with an ankle injury, and you can see he's got that mobility back tonight. But 37 games sacked 116 times, that's testimony to the toughness. He never wants to come out. He believes if my guys are out there, I should be out there too. He told us the most important thing is getting respect from his teammates. If he didn't like the idea of being handed the starting job, in essence, he says, that's what this Titans team is all about as well. Trying to earn respect in the NFL, playing smash-mouth football. That's what they're doing tonight against a quality team like the Packers.
Susie, we saw that in the first year when they had a great plan to get Tony Baselli as the backside protector at left tackle. As it turned out, Baselli could never play. Ryan Young was going to be the right tackle. He was hurt, and they just ate up David Carr all year long.
And as a result, he got to visit with a lot of members of the National Football League in his rookie year.
Chapman and Ferguson are deep. Only 17 seconds left for Green Bay.
Yeah, but don't ever count 4 out. 2 timeouts, 17 seconds.
Nice high driving kick. Chapman. Well, excellent coverage again, and Chapman out to the 24-yard line with only 12 seconds left to go. Amon Green taken off, this time on the cart, as he has re-aggravated that rib injury, and they are taking him in for x-rays. And just
After the
more
play,
bad
personal
news
foul.
for Green Bay.
51, receiving team, personal foul. 51, kicking team. Penalties will offset. First down.
Torrance Marshall and Deshaun Polk got into it with each other, offsetting penalties. I'd be surprised if they try anything from here with 12 seconds.
I agree with you, Mike. I think what you do is you kneel down, you go into the locker room, you get yourself reorganized. You're only down 10 points. For Brett Favre, that is not an insurmountable amount of time. Even though the Texans are losing the time of possession, they're dominating everything else.
Favre takes a knee, and a tremendous first half for the Houston Texans, to the delight of more than 71,000 here at Reliant Stadium. And they will go to the locker room with a 13-3 lead over the Packers. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. So the theme of the day, theme of the year, AFC over NFC. We'll see if it continues. Certainly, there were 4 20-point wins by the AFC today. So Houston thus far over the Packers. The fastest 3 minutes coming up in just a moment. But first, big news from the NBA today. Ron Artest, Indiana Pacers, suspended by the league for the rest of the season. That would be 73 games plus any playoff games that his team might be involved with. 9 players in all suspended for one of the sorriest things we've ever seen in any sporting arena. It happened Friday night in Auburn Hills in Michigan. And many of you have seen this many times. Artest laying on the scores table, cup of soda. He's in the stands after a Pistons fan or two. His teammate Steven Jackson is going to jump in. And then Artest punches this fan. I mean, it's just the pictures tell it all. Jermaine O'Neal gets involved and goes after Pistons fans. So all in all, you're seeing that. And so the commissioner, David Stern, 9 players. Artest with the most of it, Steven Jackson, 30 games, $5.5 million, all this without pay. And the promoting the R&B album with Artest, he wanted some time off to do that. He has plenty. The commissioner, David Stern, on the day's decisions.
The penalties issued today deal only with one aspect of this incident, that of player misconduct. The actions of the players involved wildly exceeded the professionalism and self-control that should fairly be expected from NBA players. We must affirm that the NBA will strive to exemplify the best that can be offered by professional sports and not allow our sport to be debased by what seem to be declining expectations for the behavior of fans and athletes alike.
On SportsCenter after the game, SportsCenter will break down everything. We'll have reaction from around the league. More from Commissioner David Stern. The Players Association said they will appeal the fine naturally, and so it goes. And again, after the game, much more on this. Oh, by the way, they played football, and everybody playing. No bye weeks. They're all over in Week 11 as we get to the final Sunday before Thanksgiving. And, well, Eli's coming. Hide your heart, girl. Eli Manning starting for the 5-4 Giants against Atlanta, down 14-0. Manning to Jeremy Shockey. Eli was picked off twice, but this is his first TD pass. Shockey, no, I'm going to keep the ball for you. It's a 14-10 game, but late, Keith Brooking knocks it away in Atlanta. They're 8-2. They beat the Giants 14-10 in Eli's debut. How is brother Peyton? Well, business as usual. 4 touchdown passes. This to Reggie Wayne as the Colts humble the Bears 41-10. Peyton 35 on the year. Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh, 8-0 as a starter now. Here's the flip to the fullback, Dan Kreider. They lead at Cincinnati 17-14. Carson Palmer back in the end zone. Intentional grounding. There's a safety. Steelers 9-1. They beat the Bengals 19-14. Philadelphia has come back with authority after their loss to Pittsburgh. Won big on Monday night. Donovan McNabb, the Terrell Owens. They beat Washington 28-6. The Eagles 9-1. Eddie Janitor in a Drummond opening kickoff for Detroit. He returned 2 punts last week for touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He was gone to start the game, and the Lions had a double-digit lead over Minnesota, the entire division within 1 game. But not Curley, not Larry, but Mo Williams. Touchdown. Vikes beat the Lions 22-19. Denver's Jake Plummer. And the Broncos started off fast. Ashley Lee, touchdown. Denver all over New Orleans, 34-13 there, 7-3. But in the AFC West, so is San Diego. LaDainian Tomlinson, 164 yards rushing. Chargers win at Oakland, 23-17.
Trent Dilfer got the start for an ailing Matt Hasselback for Seattle. And Jerry Rice in the end zone for the first time this year. 206 lifetime TDs. But gave Miami tied it until A.J. Feely picked off by Michael Boulware. He could go all the way. Seattle 6-4. They win 24-17. They're in first now in their division because St. Louis fell at Buffalo. Bills, special teams. Oh, my darling, it's Clemens time. Nate Clemens, 86 yards. Buffalo all over the Rams, 37-17. A wagon circled. Vinny Testaverde, Dallas, picked off by hanging Chad Williams of Baltimore. A hot club. Ravens, big second half over the Cowboys, 24-3. Drew Henson, hello to the NFL. His first play, a fumble. Baltimore recovers at the 1. Ravens 7-3. They beat the Tuna and Dallas 30-10. Quincy Carter and the Jets get it right this time. 5.5 to go. Touchdown to Justin McCarron's. Jets beat Cleveland 10-7. They're 7-3. Steve McNair back in the start. To Aaron Kinney on a 4th-and-1 play. Big 30-yard play, setting up Antoine Smith. Touchdown. Titans win in Jacksonville 18-15. Jake Daylight come and you gotta delo. Shades of last year to Mushin Muhammad. Panthers over Arizona 35-10. And the San Francisco 49ers are 1-9. Brian Griese to Joe Jurevicius in the end zone for the first time after all its injuries since that opening Monday nighter a year ago. 35-3 Bucks.
This halftime show is presented by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count.
When we return to halftime heroes, there were plenty of them. Some of them named Manning, but certainly not alone. We'll be back at the half in a moment.
The Kia Halftime Show with your host, Chris Berman.
13-3 Houston at the half. Peyton Manning now 35 touchdown passes this season. Had my halftime heroes, the record 48, Dan Marino 20 years ago. Edgerrin James rushed for 204 yards, took the fourth quarter off. Jerome Bettis, 3 straight 100-yard games for him. Curtis Martin joins Barry Sanders as the only two to start their NFL career with 10,000-yard seasons. Oh, by the way, Bettis and Martin each passed Tony Dorsett on the all-time rush list. Speaking of Hall of Fame running backs, Damon Allen, younger brother Marcus Allen, leads Toronto to a 27-19 win in the Grey Cup CFL Championship over the British Columbia Lions. We'll be back.
Presented by Kia Motors. Kia, make every mile count.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at halftime of the Packers at Houston game. And, of course, everybody across America getting set to celebrate Thanksgiving with their families and their loved ones. And we trust that that day is special to everybody. And figured it would be a nice way to kick things off ahead of time this weekend with the Thanks and Giving. And who better to tell us about it than the Emmy Award-winning actress who we've loved for years and years and years. That'll be Marlo Thomas, who joins us from the ESPN Zone in New York. And happy Thanksgiving, Marlo.
Hi, thanks, Chris. Thanks so much.
It's nice to see you. Tell us about Thanksgiving.
Well, you know, I love the NFL. Joe Theismann is a huge supporter of St. Jude. I know you are, so is Sean Salisbury. We've had a lot of really good times with the NFL. The NFL owners are very much involved with this Thanksgiving campaign for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They've been playing our promos, our 30-second spots in the stadiums. They're sending us checks. They're selling our St. Jude Bear in the program. It's just great the way the NFL has gotten behind St. Jude.
Marlo, outline for everybody the Thanks and Giving program. Exactly what is it?
Well, it's a time to give thanks for the children in our lives who are healthy and to give to the kids who are not, so that someday all children can be healthy. And that's really what we do at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You know, no child ever pays, no family ever pays if they can't afford it. We take care of everything. We're in every single community in this country. Our research goes to every single community in the country, and so that's why I think so many national organizations are behind this Thanksgiving program. And your NFL fans, you can be involved by going onto our website, thanksandgiving.com. And you can press the Donate Now button, or you can buy one of our gifts, like this little Hope necklace, which is really a nice present for the ladies, the women, the girls in your lives. And you can also buy a Hope T-shirt that Jennifer Aniston models. Mostly it's about getting involved in something that's really about research and treatments. You know, there's a lot of great hospitals all over this country. I know that every single NFL city, there's a great children's hospital, and we collaborate with all of them. But St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is unique in the fact that we're a research center and a treatment center under one roof, and our research is saving children's lives, and we're sending out that research to every community in the country.
And Marlo, you have a book, right? Thanks and Giving all year long. Let's see it. It's beautiful.
I know. Somebody's got it here. Here it is. It's called Thanks and Giving all year long, and it's got wonderful stories and poems. It's very much in the spirit of Free to Be You and Me, which is a big favorite for kids. And the proceeds go to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. There's also a CD that matches it. And we've got people like Billy Crystal and Robin Williams and Sheryl Crow and Faith Hill and Sarah Jessica Parker and Ray Romano. And just terrific people all contributed their talent and their royalties. And Tiger Woods, the great Tiger Woods, wrote a story in here about when he was a little boy. It's a really great piece for Thanksgiving presents and Hanukkah and Christmas. It's another way to get involved with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You know, my dad founded it in 1962. Yep. And we are the third largest health charity in America, and I think he'd be so proud today. You know, Daddy owned a piece of the Miami Dolphins for a moment there, and I remember the first game, the player was running down the field and with 93 yards, and my father ran the entire 93 yards with him, with his change and his keys falling out of his pockets. It was really adorable. You know, it's the way a non-pro gets involved with a football team.
Well, why not? We're all athletes at heart, but
he was a real fan.
You and your family, your dad and you and your family, nothing more important than trying to get children healthy. Thank you for joining us, and a happy birthday and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
David Carr to Dominic Davis, the touchdown. Houston, thus far, shocking the pack. 13-3, third quarter in a moment.
Favre, the legend, and David Carr, who idolized him. A chance to play against number 4, and he is not disappointed tonight, leading the Texans to a 13-3 halftime lead in front of a sellout crowd of 71,000. But if you have Brett Favre, you are literally never out of a ball game. 13-3. Welcome back to Houston, everybody. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Culber, our entire ESPN crew, and we are set to go with the second half. Texans to get the ball first. J.J. Moses spins out of one tackle up to the 31-yard line. The Texans have built this team, I think, the right way for the long term, but they started with David Carr, and now you see him with guys around him, and you can see what he can do.
Well, David Carr is doing exactly what we talked about he had to do at the beginning of this ball game, and that's take control of it. This has to be on his shoulders. He knew going into this game, Joe, that he was not going to have a great running game, but he had to pass the ball very well. But they've run very well.
Brett Favre sort of in that situation now with Armand Green gone. It's going to fall on his shoulders, literally his arm, to be able to get the ball down the field and make some plays, put some points on the board.
We'll have to see what the Packers do at running back, missing the top 2 on the depth chart right now. And Johnson takes the slant pass and a dead run against the midfield, a gain of 20. Nice throw, nice catch.
Well, Al Harris is pointing to his chest. You see a lot of guys do that. He said, this is my fault. I should have had this play. I should have been able to jump this play. But watch how quick Carr gets his ball out. I mean, Andre Johnson, that ball hit him in full stride.
Andre Johnson has more yards after the catch than any other wide receiver in the game. He is so dangerous. Nice play fake by Carr. Again, a chance to run. Only picks up a couple that time.
I'm impressed with his speed to the outside. I mean, once he makes his decisions, and this is the other thing that impressed me, once he makes a decision, whether it's to throw or run, he's very decisive. Too often quarterbacks get caught in the middle. They're not sure what they want to do. He sees no one open, and he's gone right now. I think that's really important.
And I'll tell you the smart thing about it was it's only good for a yard and a half. But what he didn't just do is throw the ball away. Young quarterbacks have a tendency, they have so much confidence in their arm that they'll just go ahead and throw it. He has learned an awful lot in 3 years.
He's also rushed for 180 yards this year. Davis picks his way for about 3. David Carr wired for sound for Sunday night.
Have a good one. All right, we're good now. Thank you. You had a good one. Thank you, Jesus. That's all right. We're going to score on this play.
You know, the one thing he has always had, even when he didn't have an offensive line to block for him and no running game to help him out, he's always had the great poise and the confidence in his own ability coming out of Fresno State as the #1 pick in the draft. This time pitched to the ground by KBG, his first sack, and he has moved into number 3 all-time for the Green Bay Packers. Did I say KGB? That would be
also known as
be
KGB.
the Soviet spy agency. This would be the defensive lineman.
And it's very difficult to confuse them. I understand that, Michael. That 3-letter guy got there in a hurry.
It's one or the other.
You got his name down pat. You don't have his initials down.
It's the initials that killed me.
Only Paul and I use the initials.
That's right. That's funny. Fair catch called by Chapman and made at the 8. 46 yards. We'll get the CIA in there in a second. Packers ball when we come back.
It's time for the NFL on ESPN, and the hits just keep on coming. The Super Bowl champion New England Patriots take their 8-1 record into Arrowhead to face the big-time offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patriots-Chiefs live tonight on ESPN.
Simply the finest football on the planet. ESPN continues full-day coverage of the UEFA Champions League all the way through the championship game in May. ESPN, the home of the UEFA Champions League. College football fans, rejoice! Now you can watch over 150 of the best matchups from the best conferences right on your computer. Just log on to ESPN.com and click on the ESPN Game Plan logo. You're on your way to over 150 of the best games. Sign up for a weekly subscription for the entire season. Watch games live, watch games that are archived, or watch the highlights. It's a college football fan's dream come true. Log on to ESPN.com, click on the Game Plan logo, or search Game Plan.
The biggest names in poker try their luck with $5 million US at stake in the Ultimate Vegas Showdown. The 2004 World Series of Poker, only on ESPN. It's time for the NFL on ESPN, and the hits just keep on coming. The Super Bowl champion New England Patriots take their 8-1 record into Arrowhead to face the big-time offense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Patriots-Chiefs live tonight on ESPN.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
ESPN Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39. MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. UPS, what can Brown do for you? And Toyota, choose any direction as long as it's moving forward.
This is Mission Control at the Johnson Space Center, where since 1965, NASA has controlled all of the manned U.S. space flights. We could use a little control up here in the booth as the Packers start from the 8-yard line. Fisher gets a couple.
Brett Favre, we're going to show you something unique with this. Is called Pass Track. You're going to get a chance to see a lot of what happens. This is the target line where Brett Favre wants to throw the football. You see Javon Walker coming in, and Jay Foreman gets really caught in the vapor trail of how the ball comes over. That's how it gets over the linebackers. That's the kind of arc you have to put on a ball. That's how hard he throws it.
They're missing their top 2 running backs. Javon Walker makes this catch and dives out to the 16, about 2 yards shy of a first down, his 6th catch.
This is going to be a little bit of a throwback now for Brett Favre. Mike Sherman, who's calling the plays, who took over 4 weeks ago, really is undefeated as a play caller, is going to have to put the ball in the hands of Brett Favre. And when you talk to the Houston Texans, they say, Brett, he can get hot, but he can also put it up where we'll have a chance to get our hands on it. So he's got to be careful, especially backed up like this.
He's only had one deep ball all night long, and that's the driver.
3rd and 3.
Here they come.
Come with a 5-man rush. He throws underneath. That's a first down, complete to Javon Walker.
You know what? He is a quarterback, and I'll tell you, David Carr's doing the same thing. This guy, like all good quarterbacks, he will take exactly what you give him. If you take a look at Javon Walker, he is wide open. Favre over, he looks over the entire field. He knows where everybody is, and he just threw the ball to the open guy.
And Aaron Glenn is not going to make a mistake and try and go up and muscle him and miss a tackle and let him go to distance.
Walker over 900 yards receiving, already a career best in his 10th game. Favre somehow got away from the pressure, completes another one out to the 42. Bubba Franks, his tight end, for a gain of 16, cut down by Dante Robinson.
Did you see what Favre just did? He went over and he shook hands with Seth Payne on the way back through because he escaped. Look at Seth going, well, you know, I think I had him. Here I have him. I got him. No, you don't have him. Don't put an arm on him. And after this was all over and he throws and completes this pass, Favre shakes his hand. Said, nice try.
He's just special to watch. It's a good effort, Seth. Tony Fisher. Packers sweep to the 45.
We talked about the way David Carr has spread the ball around. This is Brett Favre throwing the ball. Look at the throws up the middle. 8 for 8 in the middle of the football field. Just 5 deep balls, 1 each on the outside, but working right up the middle of the football field. And that's the thing about the 3-4. Remember, the linebackers are moved to the side a little bit, and so you can hit the ends behind them.
Walker again forced out of bounds. Makes his 8th catch. Let's go to Susie.
You know what? I think you guys will agree that the thing that strikes you the most when you sit down to talk to Brett Favre is he's just a regular guy. He says that means the most to him when people say that. He loves to joke, tell stories. He loves to hang out with his wife and kids, and when he's home, just mow the lawn. This guy is old school. He's a warrior. The thing that bugs him most is there's not enough guys like him anymore in the NFL.
Susie, you don't know anybody that doesn't like the guy who's been around him at all. This one is incomplete as he ends up throwing into double and then triple coverage.
Well, he was trying to hit Robert Ferguson on this throw, and he knows himself. I mean, he's got a great arm, but this is one pass that he really doesn't have to throw. Look at the people that are here. There's 3.
Well, you know what?
There's a linebacker, excuse me, Joe, there's a linebacker, Jamie Sharper, that was in front of him. He already had him beaten. This ball was kind of on target, but he gets hit from behind by Robinson. No catch.
Parker, nice high punt to Moses. Signals fair catch, and there's a marker down.
There's flags all over the place.
For a punt of 34 yards. And the indication is it's against the Texans.
Well, they've got about 15 guys on the field.
12 men on the field. Defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
They had more than that.
What a huge break.
What a critical penalty. I mean, these are the kind of penalties that drive coaches crazy. Dom's got to be thinking to himself, what in heaven's name happened here? It's simple. It's you get the ball versus giving Brett Favre an opportunity at midfield.
And folks, you know how much time they spend on special teams. I mean, everybody, they do it. They do the substitutions. You look out on the field. You know if you're supposed to be on there or not. The only time you have any confusion is if you have an injury. And I don't know if anybody was injured so far in this game for the Texans.
Dom Capers is really hot. And you're right, Joe. It gives Favre another chance, and he goes right to work. Throws. That one could have been picked. And it is. Aaron Glenn with his 4th career interception.
You know what he said to us the other day? That was Javon Walker. I'll get back to it.
ESPN Sport Legends presents Arthur Ashe. Arthur Ashe, a great tennis player, had a greater concern for bettering the world and the plight of those who didn't have a say in their own civil freedoms.
People who could have made contributions to the world who were suppressed because of color. He felt it very appalling that Nelson Mandela would spend time in jail for what he believed.
I count February 11th, 1990 as one of the happiest days of my life, watching Mr. Mandela come out of prison. Obviously, I feel a part of the community of people who helped bring that about.
Arthur Ashe died on February 6, 1993, after a struggle with AIDS brought on by a blood transfusion following one of his 2 heart attacks. He was 49.
In tennis, the only way to get better is to play somebody who's better than you are. And Arthur served that purpose for a lot of people, not just in tennis, but in life.
Each week, ESPN has your ticket for the best in sports. Mondays, fulfill your need for speed as we bring you the best in 2-wheel, open-wheel, and off-road racing. Thursdays are action sports days with the wildest moments of X Games and beyond. And remember, ESPN is always your home for the great outdoors with hunting, lumberjacking, and some of the biggest fish you've ever seen. The best in sports each week, only on ESPN.
Monday Night Countdown at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. Then on ABC at 9, Tom Brady leads the Patriots into Kansas City to take on Trent Green and the Chiefs. After the interception, the Texans take over at their own 16, ironically, where they would have gotten it on the fair catch in the first place. And Dominic Davis hitting the backfield by Hannibal Davies. He'll lose a couple. Let's go back to the pick, Paul.
Well, on Friday, Aaron Glenn said, I loved covering bigger guys, taller guys. Javon Walker is 6'3". He said because when they come out of their break, it takes them a little bit longer. Now, this is just a straight post pattern, but Aaron Glenn watches him, sees him turn it to the inside, and then he makes the jump on the ball. He said, when they slow down and make a cut, now you're in my game, and this is what I do very well.
He's done it very well for a long time. Second and long, looks like Carr is changing the play. And we'll give it to Davis. Back out to the 23.
I want to show you this pick from Pass Track. You see out to the right, Aaron Glenn and Javon Walker in the first circle. That's where Brett Favre wants to throw the football. He's late with this ball. You see, he just doesn't lead him far enough. And it allows Aaron Glenn the opportunity to come in and close on it. But look at the arc he has to put it on when he throws the ball 43 yards down the field. The arc's at 14 feet. You have to put more on it as the ball goes down the field. But that time, he didn't let it go quick enough.
3rd and 8. Harris can't knock it away from Andre Johnson.
You want to know what? I'll tell you what. Andre Johnson falls down, then gets back up. Carr's throwing the ball. You talk about your pass track. Carr is throwing the ball right to a spot. Watch this. Andre Johnson falls down. Right here. Back up on. He gets. Look at this. Ooh. And Al Harris is saying no catch, but this is. Look at the strength of Andre Johnson, and this pass was perfect.
5 catches for 106 yards. Andre Johnson, what a receiver, only in his 2nd year. Carr, this one is behind Johnson and can't make the circus catch.
And
there is a marker down.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He was open. Andre Johnson was open. This ball was thrown behind. If he throws it on target,
checking with Susie.
Well, Andre Johnson admits that his on-the-field demeanor versus his off-the-field demeanor, very different. He says it's like flipping a switch. He is so laid back and quiet when you talk to him. You can barely even hear him. He said it just runs in the family. But on the field, he is a fiery competitor. Al Harris, the veteran, having his trouble with the big guy tonight. But he says when he flips on the TV at the end of the day, he loves to see all those touchdown celebrations. You will never see Andre Johnson do that, though. Very mild-mannered.
Susie, he's off to a brilliant start in his NFL career. Back to Davis on the ground. You judge yourself the way you match up against the best in the game. Look what he has done against some of the best that have ever played. First 25 career games, he has more catches than Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, Jerry Rice, and T.O. That is a great start.
And I tell you what Susie's talking about, when you said that, I was in the second row, and I could barely hear anything he said. He's a very, very quiet man, except in 3 hours of football time.
Davis, boy, nowhere to go that time. Middle of that line was waiting on him. Hunt and Jackson, the tackles. And whatever David Carr changed that play to, Dominic Davis is going to go back to the